doing here?
If I felt the urge to do so, I'd lowercase the nearly random letters as indicated in the title screen. I don't feel the urge to do so. Instead, I'm going to continue to wrap my brain around what the hell Natural Doctrine is. A tactical RPG? Sure. A grim high fantasy conflict? Sure. An arcane analysis of strategic min-maxing? That's a bit more interesting. Natural Doctrine is the step beyond Disgaea that Disgaea was beyond Fire Emblem. A salty wad of number juggling, excruciating decisions, and gameplay as dense as a loaf of turkey roll. It's not so much about how you attack, but who you attack and how you can maximize your bonus attacks from nearby allies. Actually, that tends to be the majority of the game. So I'm going to try to break this down because it's kind of like the hypercube of TRPGs. Natural Doctrine uses a hybridized, grid-based, and freeform combat system. If I felt the urge to do so, I'd bust out that Lewis Black line because that'd take a second to digest. But no, there we are. You move your units between squares of the terrain, and then within each square you have a number of tactical concerns like cover and sight lines. Not only that, but the bonuses you earn from teaming up with allies for attacks are increased by the distance between the units that team up. So sometimes you're giving up some defensive advantage in the name of stronger or more accurate attacks, and I'm not entirely sure how that's supposed to work, but there's a lot of this game that's rather inscrutable. A culture now stands that learned to harness magic through the use of magical matter, which you might find in chests and is your MP. That's right, MP isn't replenished. You've got to find more or relegate your caster to the sidelines. All in all, your story of a young knight and the fighters around him feels samey and done, especially in this genre, and you'll be giving all of your consideration to the enemies on the field, your own party, and how you can fiddle with them for maximum effect. It's all about pushing numbers, stat allocations, and equipment around, which is sometimes what you're looking for, sometimes not. This kind of myopic, detail-oriented gameplay is a fine mental exercise, but the narrative suffers grievously as a result. So I'd almost write off the entire experience until I hit the multiplayer. That's right, it's a tactical RPG with multiplayer, straight up player versus player combat. When the main storyline gets you down, here's where you should go. Buying packs of units, building a deck of combatants, juggling size restriction issues, and then going toe-to-toe online against a similar opponent. And in these small bouts, where it's all about a manageable throwdown for personal glory, the game improves greatly. The nuts and bolts are still decent, the music's appropriate, but not really remarkable. The character models are detailed, if a bit samey, and the portrait art gives you the option of just how anime you want the game to be. And I use that as an adjective, which gives me pause, but it's the truth. Unfortunately, the multiplayer isn't enough to bolster the whole experience, leaving Natural Doctrine to the kind of players who tried to grind up their disc of Soul Nomad in the World Eaters and take it intravenously. Speaking of, I wonder where mine is.